Communism had started to take off in Southeast Asia, and our country felt that we had to stop it because they didn't want it to become a global political force, so they thought it was best if we put forces in there and stop the communist right in Vietnam and not let it spread to Laos or Cambodia. The French had been doing it, but they had asked for our help, and so we got ourselves involved, and that's why we were basically there. The war started actually in 1959 and ended in 1973 when a truce was signed between our government and Ho Chi Minh's government in North Vietnam. Well, when I first went in, I was a little nervous. You never know what's going to happen. It was a very bloody war. There were a lot of actions and a lot of things, and I was afraid I might be put there, although my enlistment was to work mostly stateside, but you never knew. So I was a little concerned about what I was going to be doing. I was very young. I had never been out of the state of Ohio, and had never been under the command of anybody but my mother and father for 18 years. So it was a little nervous, a little afraid. But when I first went in and went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, it got a little bit better. But initially, it was a little scary. I was 18. Oh, when I first went in, I trained as an infantryman, which is a combat soldier, a soldier that carries the rifle, carries the machine gun, actually goes into battle. But as the experiences increased, they decided to train me as a heavy-duty auto mechanic. That was one that works on heavy trucks, tanks, and heavy equipment, and that was what they called advanced training, and mine was in heavy equipment maintenance.
Okay.
I initially went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where I did my basic training and my infantry training, and then after that I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, where I did paratrooper. I went to what they called jump school and learned to be a paratrooper. And that was just like a whim on my part. I volunteered, and I did it because I thought it sounded like it would be, something very exciting and interesting. But in the end, they never needed any paratroopers in Vietnam because you don't jump into the jungle. It is not done. So, but then after that, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is where they have the heavy equipment base in the United States, where they did all the staging for shipping heavy equipment, heavy trucks, tanks, road graders, and things like that to Vietnam. And I was stationed there for more training. And then after that, I was transferred back to Toledo, Ohio to join the reserve forces in Ohio, because they were building from a 300-man force to a 1,500-man force, and they needed experienced soldiers to help with that growth. I made several friends. One of the best friends, his name was Kerry Burnett. He lived right down the street from me, and we went into the military at separate times, but we both knew that we had signed up and were in the Army, and I had met him down in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and Kerry was eventually assigned to Vietnam and eventually was killed in the war in Vietnam. I never thought that the protesters, I never liked them. I didn't think that they were being fair. I was very young, and thought I was doing my duty to my country, and that everybody had to do that duty. And their opinions of the American soldier who only took orders was very distasteful, and some of the things that they did to the American soldiers coming home and some of the demonstrations and things they had, I really had no respect for their opinions at that time. Many years later, with older and wiser, I felt maybe they had a point because the war was political. But at the time, I thought they had a terrible taste in my mouth. I thought they were very unpatriotic. I would like to think that it couldn't, but like most wars, it's political. The people that decide whether we're going to fight or whether we're not are politicians and not soldiers. So I think anymore in the future, I don't think we'll ever have another Vietnam, because if it is felt to be unjust wherever it may be in the world, the people would really rise up and really be against it. But if it was for a truly honest cause and for a good cause, then they may support it. But another Vietnam, I don't think there'll ever be another one like that.